butterflies that fluttered too, and Fro shared the joy of the mouse family that lived in a tree stump house. Hanging from a flower by plaited grass ribbons, protected by its large green leaves and shaded by its petals, was a walnut shell. Inside lay a newly born baby mouse, wrapped in sheep's wool. It was sleeping quietly, rocking in the gentle breeze. Beside the cradle stood five more little mice, three of them reaching up on tiptoe to see inside. They were all little girl mice, named after flowers because their father was a keen gardener. Bryony was the eldest, followed by Clover, Cowslip, Campanula, who found her name hard to spell, and lastly, little Daisy. The baby mouse lying in the walnut shell was their very first brother, and they were all delighted. But what should his name be? Father Mouse thought hard for a hard flower name for the baby, but nothing seemed quite right. He paced up and down, thinking, and trod on a thistle, but he jumped high in the air and squeaked by George. The baby mouse smiled, so George became his name because he obviously liked it. George grew quickly, and soon he slept in a cot made by his father from used matchsticks that he had found in the hedge. Of course, his sister helped to bathe him and taught him to sing. His mother showed him birds and insects and taught him their names. Soon, George could walk steadily, even chasing the butterflies, and he never minded falling, rolling himself into a little fat furry ball. George soon learned how to draw and read, but he especially liked making things. He would weave baskets out of grasses just like his sisters, and he spent a long time studying scraps of newspapers found in the hedge. He was a very quiet little mouse and didn't enjoy climbing trees and diving off cow parsley flowers into the rivers with his sisters. Instead, he would disappear to a secret place where he could be heard chattering to himself and cutting wood. One day, when the summer was drawing to an end and farmers had harvested all their corn, George's family were busily collecting acorns, nuts, and berries to store for the winter. They had made an enormous pile of large, juicy acorns against an oak tree in the edge of a wood, when suddenly big black clouds covered the sun and fat drops of rain began to fall. The mice scurried around collecting their baskets. They called and called for George, but he was nowhere to be seen. George's mother was very worried as there had been no sign of him for several hours. But Father Mouse was very angry and announced that George was not to be given any acorns to eat that winter as he was so lazy. The mice gathered up their baskets and ran back to the tree as the rain fell harder and harder. But when they got there, a terrible shock awaited them. All their juicy acorns are gone. Cowslip and Daisy cried, but Bryony and Clover jumped up and down with anger. They felt sure that squirrels must have taken the nuts. Cold and dripping wet, the mice trudged miserably back home. When the mice arrived back, they were surprised to find the fire lit and the bathtub already filled in front of it. Supper had been laid, and who should be fast asleep in the rocking chair but George. But most amazing of all, there was an enormous pile of juicy acorns heaped up against the staircase. The little mice couldn't wait for George to tell them how he had brought back the harvest home. When he woke up, George took them around to a secret place under the outer roots of his tree stump. There was a little wagon which he had made all by himself from old twigs and branches. He had worked on it for days because he wanted to help with the harvest but was too small to carry more than one basket at a time. While his parents and sisters had been busy collecting berries in the hedge, George was putting in the finishing touches to the wagon in his secret place. It was then he had heard some squirrels higher in the branches telling each other about the pile of acorns they had seen and plotting to steal them for their own winter store. George had immediately scamped with his wagon loaded up with acorns all by himself and brought them home by a hidden path. George's sisters hugged and kissed him while his parents looked on with pride at their clever son. Everyone wondered what George would make next in his secret workshop. Father Mouse hoped for a sledge for the winter, Mother Mouse for a washing machine, and the girls wanted a swing, a roundabout, and a diving board. But George, tucked up in bed, dreamt only making a flying machine in which he could sail over the trees and have wonderful adventures.